There's a fire! There's a fire! So my buddy Rosario has picked up a pretty cool little project here. He bought this thing from a museum. I think in his past life he was a fireman. He has a couple of really cool fire trucks. One of them that's really famous. I'll show you a picture of it. Sweet.
Pretty nice.
What year is it?
34.
34. Wow.
Federal.
Do you own a Dalmatian?
No, we're going to get a stuffed one.
You need to get one?
We got a Hercules in there.
Hercules, huh?
Yeah, they were even.
Wow, look at that spotlight. Ooh. So what's the story on it?
It came out of a museum up in Oklahoma. Mike Fuller's gas and what is that? It's right on the gas and pump museum. He had it out there for years. He didn't want to get rid of it. He actually backed out on me once.
So the deal fell through one time,
Yeah.
and then he came through.
He came through. He says, "Yep," he changed his mind.
So what did he say about it? When's the last time it ran?
He said he ran about 4 years ago. He had some surgery, some heart issues, and got it going.
And then he just kind of let it sit.
Let it sit. Put a bag over it. He said he got some. He thinks he got some water in one of the cylinders. The first one, number one, I think.
Okay.
He says he put some lubricant in there, but being that he's a little bit elderly, can't don't have the help,
Yeah. Couldn't get it broke loose.
Yeah. So he didn't try. He never tried. He says it might have been. It might break loose right away. But I don't know. I don't know much about it. That's where you come in.
It definitely got some water around the plugs. So. Whatever could have leaked in on the threads might possibly be in the cylinders, but hey, all we can do is try. Yeah. Wow. What a neat old truck, man.
It had a big old bell on the front that I took off. I don't know if you've seen it on the other picture.
No.
It looked like a
It was
cattle prong. Yeah, I ripped it off yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably great for the museum, but for
Yeah.
what you're going to do with it, it kind of don't work.
Yeah.
34 Federal.
Yeah.
Woo! Driving down the road, getting to the fire.
That right there is the other one.
Yeah, that might be a problem. Transmission's frozen up. But hey, it's only metal. Muriatic acid on that, clean that up. That broke loose. Does it have a fuel tank in it? Did you see?
Right under that. Right.
So it's under the seat?
You were sitting on it.
That's the fuel tank, huh?
Yeah, and he's got an electric fuel pump on there, so he had it pretty much going. He says he used, use it for the parades and stuff like that.
So it probably has no brakes.
Yes. He said they were mechanical, but I looked at it. He has lines to it. The pedals loose.
The parking brake might work. Maybe.
Well, I have a winch. We could
Winch it off.
winch it off.
How heavy is it?
It's fucking.
It's all there.
It's all there. It's all there.
All there.
Yeah, I felt it.
Cool. Well, let's hook that winch up and we'll get some straps off and set a ramp up. See if we can get it off. Probably number one. Yeah, it'd be really cool to just get it to where you can run it around town.
So,
and
yeah, stuff like
parade
that.
it.
Yeah. Just for the
It'll be nice here in Arizona because it won't get rained on. It won't get ruined
And for being out, in Oklahoma, sitting out there and outside of his museum for so long, it's pretty solid. Like I said, the only thing that's beat up is the seats, because of the moisture that the trash and everything that it held. 'Cause it was kind of like under a tree.
Yeah, so it just collected off the trees.
Off the tree and stuff like that, and whatever.
Awesome. What a cool truck. How about that license plate? I know what that's all about. That's some conspiracy shit there. Did you get a hand crank with it or no?
No.
Okay.
Got some axes. That's about it.
Axes, huh?
Some pretty cool axes.
That's cool. So they had it all decorated up for the museum. They gave you all the stuff with it.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. So he had this little electric pump rigged
So
up.
that's a exhaust whistle.
Yeah, for the.
I never seen that.
Well, that'll be fun to make that work.
Yeah.
Looks like it's in good shape.
Yeah. So the truck was running fine until he had his little hiccup.
Yeah, he probably parked it and it got rained on.
Just got rained on and stuff.
Got down in there. Definitely need to spray some stuff on here. I'm gonna grab a wrench and pull these plugs out and see what that looks like. Transmission has straight cut gears in it, and it's I'm almost 100% it's not synchronized or anything. So what we'll do is we'll just dump muriatic acid in the trans, fill it clear full, we'll drain what oil or water's in it, dump muriatic acid in it, let it sit for a few hours, we'll steam it out, we'll get everything broke loose, and then we'll fill it up with oil and drive it. That's the easiest way to probably deal with that.
Okay.
And depending on how bad this is, we might pull the cylinder head, so hopefully we can either save the gasket or find one. That actually looks pretty good there. I don't see any corrosion on that plug. Down in the cylinders that way. Yeah, that one looks really good too. Definitely looks like it was running not long ago. That one's good as well. They all look that good. I'm sure the engine will probably run with no trouble. So how did you find this thing? How did you find the advertisement on it?
Found it online. He posted it, and then he took it off. He texted me his information, and I tried calling him. He never answered. I called him one time, and he called me like at midnight. But I guess he had just got out of the hospital, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll sell it." And kind of went there, and then he went AWOL on me. This was in May.
Oh, so you started buying this thing clear back in May.
In May. And then sitting at home, I'm like, man. And then I went back to the ad, and I couldn't find the ad no more. We took it off. So why in the hell? I remember it's in May. So I went back to my text messages in May, and boom, found him. I called him. And he's like, well, I don't know. And they said, y'all sell it. I said, all right. So I have a cousin that lives in Oklahoma, so I gave her the money. and
And she went and paid him and kind of locked him into it, or no?
He backed out.
Oh.
She was with the money. That's all. The money will be there. Why don't you send you the deposit? He's like, no. So then he backed out. He says, no, I don't really want to sell. He sent me a big old text message. Like, I have a hard time getting rid of stuff. People really like it here in my museum, so I don't want to. I'm sorry. I said, all right, well, it is what it is. And then about 2 weeks later, he says, you know what? I'll sell it to you, Rosario.
Huh.
He says, I'll sell it to you. I won't back out this time. I said, all right, well, my cousin has the money there, so she'll be there tomorrow. She went, gave him took the title.
Locked it in.
I got the title already. You got paid. I got the title, so you ain't going nowhere.
Oh, that's funny. I've got a lot of deals like that, and it's like, when it's meant to be, it's meant to be. So you're gonna get into that. But them cylinders all look pretty good, Rosario. Yeah. Probably have to get down in it with a camera to see any rust, but I'm gonna try to turn it over. It's pretty cool that this thing's got the 2 rows of seats in it.
Well, the other seat was a pump. That's where your pump went. They took the pump off of there, and that's where the seat went. But
okay.
we want to roll another seat like that, kind of like the front one.
Right.
Another one just to make it kind of
right. So it all matches.
It all matches.
Metal. Yeah, I can't even get a hold of that thing there. I wonder if we should just bump the starter and see what happens. It'll probably be pretty easy to lift that floor and pull that transmission cover off too. It looks like it's just right there.
Yeah.
I just turned the motor, or else I loosened that thing up.
Turn the motor.
Something turned. It might have just turned the knob. The wrong way with it. No, it turned. It turned. So that's good.
That's good.
That's half the battle right there. Get her to see that on the camera. Yeah, it turned. That's
sweet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool right there. That's half the battle. So
that's good, yeah.
What I'll do, just leave it here. I'll get the forklift. I'll move it back over here.
I'll bring the key later.
Okay.
I'm gonna get the key, and I'll bring you the spare tire.
And if you want to come over and tinker on it and mess around, you can. Yeah. We can pull that carpet out.
Okay. Yeah.
Pull the floor up.
Okay.
Let's deal with that transmission, because if it's just rusted in the top, I don't want to fill it with muriatic acid. Okay. But if the gears are rusted, we'll go that way. But let's get the top off, get the transmission working. We'll get a battery hooked up, and we'll pull all them plugs. I'll blow all that rust out of there, and we'll put some oil in the cylinders and turn it over and mess around with it. And then we'll kind of redo some of this and get some fuel system in so you can drive it. But yeah, bring that other tire, and then we'll go over the tires and air up what we can. And see if we can get this thing to roll and run. The brakes, I'm not sure where we'll be on that, but we'll
because there's nothing there.
So I know the parking brake's working, so we can use that to mess with it for now, and then we can figure out whether we got to start at the master cylinder and work our way to the hubs, or what we got to do and try to get some brakes on it. But I say number one, we make the motor run and get it to shift, and then get the tires to roll. So at least then you can deal with it. Yeah. Because you can't deal with it trying to load and unload the way we were doing there. But it probably, if there's no moisture in the brakes, it probably won't be too hard to fix the brakes, because they don't rot over in Oklahoma like they do here. So hopefully we can put some fluid in them, and even if we got to rebuild a master cylinder, we'll do that. But yeah, that's cool to see that it turns over. That's this is a cool old truck.
I mean, it's just, I thought it would be a lot worse, just sitting out there for so long.
Yeah, you didn't.
I don't know what to
buy something sight unseen.
Yeah, but
It's like that. It's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the front's 2,000 pounds, because when that forklift starts making that noise, it's 2,000 pounds.
2,000 pounds, oh yeah.
Well, it's kind of late. I got the plugs in. I looked in it with a borescope. The motor looks good. I actually hooked the battery up and it turns over. However, I got the top off the transmission and it's really bad. There's all rust. But it's even worse down in here. And I don't see any oil. It's full of something, but it looks like water. So I'm gonna have to pull the drain plug And then I'm going to steam clean it, I believe, a little bit and get as much of the crud out as I can. And then I'll put the plug back in and I'm going to fill it up with muriatic acid and let it do its job. It's our only option to try to get it to free up. None of the sliders work. They're all stuck, every one of them. The good thing is the motor turned over, so I know that front gear and all that's probably good, unless the center's ripped out of the clutch. However, the clutch feels good, so this right here, that could be a whole nother situation to make this work, but I don't know. We'll try some acid on it and see if it'll clean it up and make it work. We'll do that tomorrow sometime. Okay, well, we steam cleaned it. It looks a lot better. Still quite a bit of rust. It's pretty chunky. I know those gears ain't gonna slide, so we're gonna have to get some muriatic acid on it now and get it cleaned up. Huh, Rand? Yeah, we'll get it cleaned up. I already had aggressive wrench, I guess. Alright, so now that we've made this big old mess up here, we're gonna put this plug back in. Right here. On this antique. It's funny, this transmission's 4 gears and it's little tiny thing.
Did it have like a PTO or no?
It has a PTO cover, but no PTO.
Oh, somebody took that.
So yeah, we got some brake fluid. Jimmy's here, Rosario's here, and we're gonna soak that up. You want to do some filming, Jimmy?
Sure.
Good stuff right here.
Without video evidence, it never happened.
Yeah, that's what they used to say at Discovery Channel.
Right?
There was always a big meeting about your talent, because they call you talent when you're on the camera end. If it doesn't happen on camera, it didn't happen. So, yeah, there was a lot of stuff that didn't happen on camera. Just saying. It had to.
Anybody else that cleans muriatic acid off their knife would be burning their fingers by now.
Well, hopefully that'll come loose. How many gallons do you think it'll take to fill it up?
More than one.
Yeah, that's already starting to make a scientific project there. Well,
That couldn't have worked out better.
2 gallons. And then what we'll do is we'll just stuff the shifter handle down in there, because it's pretty bad too. And then that can just kind of sit there and fester. And then maybe we can...
Look at that. It's already working.
Yeah, it's leaking out of everywhere a little bit. I didn't anticipate all the seals leaking, but
Don't know if you can see or not yet, but the gear is already starting to shine up. Stuff's acting pretty quick.
oh, this little thing's pretty bad too. This little reverse lock rod's froze and all that, so we're gonna stick it down in here. Like that. And one more thing, I think we'll dump brake fluid in and let it start going down, and then we'll go to breakfast. Yeah, that's what we want it to do. So that green, yellow bubbling there, that's the chemical reaction of the rust being torn loose. When you get done, it's all white metal. Hopefully this doesn't just run out somewhere.
Right?
It actually looked pretty good down in there when I pushed the brake.
Yeah.
You could see the plunger moving, and
Well, you can hear it bubbling. That's a good sound.
yeah, it's
Sounds like it's holding.
a possibility we'll have brakes on it. So these tires, the outside dual on that side over there,
Yeah.
it doesn't even have a
Lost him.
doesn't even have a valve stem. So the inside dual's aired up, that rear aired up. I topped this one off. They're pretty rough, they're flat spotted, but
Yeah.
I think if we can get one to hold on that side over there, we'll have enough. We can drive it around the block.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's boiling now. I like that. Well, let's just let that fester and oh yeah, it's going good in here too. Looks like it's boiling. Yeah, that thing's kind of creepy. So now we spray a little of this on here. Let that kind of soak. Still got some work to do on that, I think. But let's go look and see where we're at on our transmission. See if we can get them slides to shift. Okay, so we drained the muriatic acid. And now what we need, that looks a lot better. So now what we're going to do is we're going to spray this down real good. Try to neutralize the rust. So this is reverse. Oh yeah, reverse is sliding. Okay, that's reverse. That's first. That one's. Oh, there it goes. That little one might be a little tough. Is it moving? Oh yeah, there it goes. So that is basically third and fourth. This is first and second, and that little one there is reverse. So yeah, we'll get it shoved back over here now, and then put a drain plug in it, put some gear oil in it, and keep working those gears. And we'll go work the top a little and see if we can get it clean. Let's take a look at the top. So here's what the top looks like. It looks way better. See if any of these rails are loose now. Oh, that one's loose. Oh yeah, that one's loose too. Yeah, that stuff works good, that acid. So yeah, we just got to get this little thing tapped loose, and then we'll put it back together and we'll be cruising. What do you think?
Okay.
Ready to go put some fires out somewhere? So yeah, we'll get back to you guys when we get the transmission together and we're ready to start it up. Okay, so try this thing, Rosario. We got this little reverse lockout broke out. So I had this question for Rosario. It's like, if Rosario was to pull the top off this transmission at his house, what would you think when you saw all that rust and all that top of that transmission?
Time to look for a new one.
So yeah, basically that's the most common consensus, is it's like, oh my gosh, this thing's junk, we need a transmission. Now I look at things entirely different. I look at it like it's junk to start with, okay? So when I look at something like that, I have nothing to lose by trying to make it work. All my gears, none of them are broke. It's all just frozen up. So I take every tool I have in the shop to try to free it up. We just heated this up with a torch. Just lost our microphone. We just heated this up with a torch right here to get this free. As soon as we did that, it freed up just like that. We got a little bit of oil in it, and now the mechanism works. So we've got the rails loose here, so we're going to try to shift those. Once we get those shifting, we'll play with the gears and the trans a little more, and once we get all that stuff to shift, we'll get it all back together, put a little oil in it, and get it started.
And we saved it.
Yeah, saved a 1934 Federal transmission. So Rosario, where would you go to look for a 1934 Federal transmission? Yeah,
I would be calling
the internet.
I would be calling you first.
And I would be like, well, do you have a transmission? What's wrong with it? Let's look at it. But yeah, don't be afraid to try to fix this stuff. I mean, it's the old farmer saying, it's only metal. So we got the transmission back together, and now we're trying to clean some cables up and get some electrical to work. If we can get the engine to crank over, we're going to try to start it. I was able to get 2 gears out of it, first and second. I figured once I get it running, I'll try to get the rest of them, because that'll get the oil flowing. Okay, Rosario, is it going to crank now?
Yes, it is. I got
It does
faith.
turn a little easier.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, we can almost drive it now. You got faith, huh? How about that, huh? Why don't you go run the start button?
All right.
And I'll run the gadgets here and see if we can get her to. Yeah, go ahead. Hey, that was a good sign. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead for a second. Under the seat, the edge of the seat.
Yep.
Go ahead and crank it again.
Open the key and everything?
Yeah. See how good it looks inside. Yeah, it's dry inside here. Go ahead and turn the key on with the fuel pump. Let's see, maybe the fuel pump's not pumping. Yeah, So we haven't put fuel in this thing. This fuel is the original fuel. It smelled good, so we're going to kind of go with it. I know if it was in Arizona, the fuel would be really bad. But I don't know. Maybe this guy puts ethanol-free fuel in his rigs over there at the museum. Somehow I highly doubt it, but obviously the fuel in Oklahoma doesn't rot like it does here. Because here, 30 days, that fuel's varnished tar. Yeah, I'll mess your weekend up. Okay, let's key on. Let's fuel pump key on again. Oh yeah, yeah, it's pumping now.
Choke or no choke?
I'd say no. I'll just choke it by hand, but go ahead and crank it. Hey! Let me set the idle up just a little on it. If I can find an idle screw here. I don't see an air screw anywhere. No. Go ahead again. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'll run the throttle. Go ahead. Go ahead. First and second. Start trickling you some in there. Coming? That's pretty awesome. I think it's missing a little on number one, so we'll have to drive it around a little. Maybe it's got stuck valve or something. But it, all that oil that they put on everything, trying to get that motor freed up.
It works, you got to clean up.
Yeah, we had a lot and exhaust and whatnot, so we'll just let that fill up and see where it ends up. We may end up, if the drains are open, it may end up draining out. Well, they probably don't put antifreeze in it, so they drain it out. But I know there was a drain on the block over there. Send that hood to me. Put that hood to me. I got you. Is it leaking? Oh, okay. You see one on the radiator? Oh. Let it fill up and run over. It'll be all right. It runs. It runs. Why don't you move your truck? Let's take it for a ride. It's charging. I think the temperature gauge works. The oil pressure gauge works. Let's see if that. I don't think that works.
out.
I knew I would once we drove it. When you get forward, we'll have all the gears. He looked like the fire. Stephanie! There's a fire! Where's the fire? Look at that, Rosario. There's no smoke. Woohoo!
Too bad that siren don't work. Okay.
This gear's pretty good. Uh-oh. Come on, girl. Let's get her home and in the driveway so we can get some gas.
All downhill from here.
Well, it isn't, but we
will.
might make it.
We might.
Once I get it in fourth gear. Hang on, you guys. Hang on. We're gonna make a turn here. We'll try and get it into fourth gear.
Feel like a 5-year-old again.
That was fun. Not a bad old fire truck. Ready for the car show now. You get your detail guy to come and polish it up a little. I think we'll put some gas in it. I'll give you a can. You can go get some gas. We're still pumping some oil out of there.
There's a lot of it in there.
I'm sure they filled all the cylinders up because they that old guy probably fought pretty hard to save it once he figured out he had water in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll little thermal siphon's working. So this thing's built just like a Model T. Basically, it doesn't have a water pump. This is just a fan idler that runs the generator, and there is no water pump on here, so it does thermal siphon just like a Model T. And what that means is the block gets hot, the water rises up here into this big tank. Well, automatically when there's a displacement, the cool water comes in the bottom of the block out of the radiator. And here in the desert it doesn't work real great because once you're above about 80 degrees, it just kind of runs away with itself and it'll overheat. But yeah, pretty cool. We just made it all the way around the block and it didn't overheat. So, and the temperature gauge is actually working. It's up to about 160 degrees right now. And the oil pressure gauge was working and the amp gauge was working. So we got 3 of the gears in the transmission to work. 4th is a little rough still, so probably gonna take a little to get it working. Got a little situation under here with the fire truck. So it had water in it for so long it actually froze and broke the transmission. A little crack in there runs all the way around, so we're gonna try to put a little bit of weld on it. Cast iron actually welds pretty good with a wire feed. You just gotta turn your heat down and take your time. Weld it a little at a time. So what I'll do is start on the bottom so that it doesn't spread open on me. Then I'll come up here and I'll actually stitch a little right where the crack starts so the crack don't spread. And then I'll patch it all back in about a 1/2 inch at a time. And then if I need to, I'll go over it with a little bit more heat. But yeah, it broke pretty good. So most of the oil leaked out of it last night, so we'll put some more oil in it once we get her welded up. And then he's picking it up today and taking it to get detailed. So, cool deal. Thanks for watching.